Today we're going to go and see the Vintage Market Show, the Cider and Salvage Show that I, of course, am doing. And we're setting up today. This is the day before the show actually starts, and you're going to have a little glimpse of my booth with all my jewelry and all my Christmas ornaments that I recently just got. So here's a little quick scan of the booth that I have, and we're going to take a couple of scans of some other people that are setting up too, then I'll show you the actual show, which will take place the next day. So the day before, we're all setting up and getting it beautiful. This show is a little different than any other antique show. It's more of an event. It's like a festival type atmosphere. So here's a vendor that's starting to set up for tomorrow, and they had beautiful candles that smelled wonderful. So we're taking a look at those. And this is the day before the show. And then we're going to go see a few other booths that are getting ready the day before. So like I said, it's a festival atmosphere. It's a different kind of show. Very fun. Attracts tons of people. And here is Bella's Closet Boutique, and she's setting up with all her beautiful clothes. These are the clothes that gets me in trouble because they're so nice. This is the Lovely Button Boutique, and this lady is setting up for tomorrow, and she has beautiful things. Looks like lots of work. Let's get a picture of her sign. And very neat buttons. Look at the dog ones. Those are very nice. So that's a little sampling of what she's going to have tomorrow. Everybody's still setting up. And here is Boxwood Collective. They have lots of handmade jewelry. And oh, I love these Michigan themed earrings. Lots of Michigan themed hats. It's right up my alley. And necklaces. Michigan theme. These folks are almost totally set up. I like their stuff. I love all the Michigan theme things. And here's even a pin on the jacket. And some crocheted pumpkins and a nice pillow. And here's some of the outside dealers getting set up. It's going to be a pretty big show. They're going to have food trucks, and there's some businesses, as you can see back there, that has their business right in their trailer, which is a very neat idea. So I will be showing you more tomorrow when it starts. And here's Vintage Charms, and they are setting up right now, and we'll do a scan of all this in the morning when everybody's all set up, but it's nice to kind of see it as it's getting put together. So here's the morning of the show, and I took a little walk around to show you folks everything. I have a booth here too, so it's a little bit more difficult to be able to film into a booth. But this is the morning of the show, and everyone's set up outside. And this show takes place at the Monroe County Fairgrounds in Monroe, Michigan. Now, they also have shows in different places too. And here's the morning, and here is all the cars lined up. And let me tell you, there was a lot of people at this show. So if you're going to come early. They typically start at 10 o'clock in the morning, and there was a lot of folks and a lot of cars. Now, here's the building that I'm in the morning of the show, and I took a little glimpse around to see the beautiful booths that everybody has. For this show, it's very important that things are displayed beautifully and they focus on how the booths look. That's why we all have white tents, and it makes it more like a market and a more of a festival type atmosphere. They have lots of neat other activities that go on when they have these markets too. So here's a glimpse of the other row in the building that I'm in, and I happen to be right in the corner, which actually was an awesome spot. Now, during this show, they also had people were encouraged to dress up for a prize, and there was children that was dressed up for Halloween, and all of the vendors gave out candy, and I gave out some Halloween rings and things of that nature, so it made it real fun. This booth was right down the row from me. Everything $20 and 2 for $35. They were having a sale, and their clothes are beautiful. And had I had more time, I would have definitely bought that shirt right there with the red and the black on the sleeves. I really like that The girl that was working in that booth had it on. It looked beautiful on her, but I was so busy that day I didn't get a chance. But they have lots of clothes. There's lots of clothing vendors. They're not necessarily vintage clothing, although there was one booth that did have that, but they're vintage inspired clothes. So things that look nice in that vintage type of era style. So we're going to take a little look around her whole booth. She had oh, there's me in the mirror. That was quite a sight. Had my mask on. Anyways, she had, I think, a double booth, in fact, because she had so much clothing. It was very nice. And this is right the morning of the show, right before it opened. And here's another booth I took a look at with some antique items. There are booths that have strictly antique items. There are booths that have new items that look vintage inspired. And there's a variety of other things, as you'll see. There's soap and candle, and there's lots of food. Lots and lots of foods. This was really cute because it had the things for the children with a skeleton, the candy that they could just help themselves from. This lady was very interesting. This was very neat. She had lots of fairy garden items and lots of plants that were really unusual. My daughter would have been all into this, let me tell you. She happened to be out of town, so couldn't attend. But this was a really neat booth. They're bringing in more fresh vegetables and fruits and plants and flowers, and that makes it really neat too. So a very different kind of show. Not an antique show, but it has antique elements in it. So it's more for everyone. I like it. It's a lot of fun. It's like a festival atmosphere. So we'll go around and see her different plants. And she had some dried flowers also in there. And this was right as the show was opening. I needed to have 2 people that day so we could do more filming. These folks are right down the aisle from me. They have the nicest t-shirts. They're old sayings on them and old stores and things like that in the Detroit area. Very cool. Very neat. Great Scott. They had on there. They had Farrell's Ice Cream Shop. I don't know if anybody remembers that. I went there as a teenager. That might be aging me a bit. But lots of neat shirts. Bill Knapp's. Remember getting those chocolate cakes at Bill Knapp's. And here's another booth that has some vintage-inspired items with antiques mixed in. All decorated for the fall. Some old trays. And some linens. And a kind of a bird cage adaptation with that. That was neat. Some of the artists are amazing. They do some really amazing things with some of the vintage elements. And they make things with them. And they're very, very creative. You won't see another show like this. This is a really different type of show. It's really neat. Fun to go to. And here's a picture of another booth where they have the old fireplace and a bicycle and some pumpkins for sale. This one is another one right down the aisle from me. And they have lots of little pumpkins and some signs and other fall elements. And they make stuffed kittens or kitties, and they're so cute. They work really hard on those. And some owls and pumpkins. They do a very good job with their sewing. This booth is quite beautiful too, with lots of fall elements in it, and the fireplace and the old clock. And here's a woman that has natural gemstone jewelry items. She had lots of bracelets. That's right up my alley. I like that stuff because I love the jewelry. But she had mainly all natural stones, and she had some rings with some natural stones in there that were quite nice. Lots of bracelets. And a big variety, too, of natural stone items. So I really liked her booth. I thought that was really neat to see so many different types in one booth. And here's another jewelry dealer who uses vintage jewelry and makes new items with them. Beautiful. And here we have some candles that they have made. Some soy candles. Very nice. They smell very good. And here's someone that makes pillows that were Halloween and Michigan themed. And this booth had a lot of floral types of items in there, along with some signs and some other fall type home decor in their booth. And that's the name of their business, Simply Grace. And they did a nice job on their wreaths. Their wreaths were quite beautiful. Another thing I would have liked to shop for a little bit, but didn't have time because I actually was set up and had to sell myself. Here's a beautiful booth with some old furniture in it and some signage and lots of home decor. And this booth here had a lot of Michigan themed items that they have made, some ornaments, and they have some wooden pumpkins down there that they have made. There's lots of fall home decor. And they even have a gate and some wreaths on some different types of old windows. Beautiful things for your home. These were really cute. Halloween themed home decor. Very nice. Now this lady, she buys a lot of jewelry from me actually, and then she remakes the items into different pieces. She's quite the artist. Her stuff is very beautiful, and it's kind of fun because I get to see some of my jewelry incorporated into her stuff that she creates. So she does a really nice job, beautiful items, and is very good at creating pieces that are a little bit more modern, but using the old elements. And there she even has a mirror she decorated with lots of stones on it. And this is pretty tough to do. I tried to do one. It didn't look anything like hers. Hers is much more beautiful. So outside we have different trucks or trailers and trucks that people use for display. This one sells various flowers, and they have it right on their truck. And here's some of the campers, the old campers that people have refurbished into little stores. Very cool. I have always wanted to do this. One day I may do this, but what a great idea to take an old camper and make it into your own booth and display all your wares in there. So this one I'm showing a little bit more up close to see what a good job these folks done, and he's waving hi to us. We're going to go in and take a tour. They have gutted the camper and put in all kinds of shelving, and he has lots of vintage items in there, antique items, lots of decorations for your home, some signs, and a lot of old glassware, and there's even a nice old mirror. Here's another outside vendor, and they have lots of home decor, signage. They have some scarecrows, very themed for the show. And we also have folks that make specialized t-shirts depending on the show. This gentleman has all kinds of produce. It looked delicious. Everything looks so nice here. This is first thing in the morning before the show even opened. Look at those tomatoes. Wow. I should have bought some of those. I don't know what I was thinking. And the mums he has was beautiful. Everything looked really good. So I'm sure that he sold out that day because he had very nice things. And this is some more of his produce. Here's another food item that we had. These folks had a bakery. And this is actually baked goods in this booth too. I believe this is the booth that won the award as the best booth. And here's some more food items. The food is fantastic at these shows. And this is a little glimpse of the coffee market, folks. And this company is run by adults with special needs. And the parents of one of the gentlemen that run it is helping there. And they have very good coffee. They're at all the shows, and they do a really nice job with that. And they have a little bit of some home decor mixed in there, too, to make it look very nice, to sell some of their other products. This fudge was so good. My friend who used to work at the fudge shops in the 60s back in Mackinac Island said it was the best fudge she's ever had. So definitely check that booth out if you come. And here's the people that do the nuts. They do almonds, and they have different flavorings on them and various different nuts. Those are always smelling so good. I'm glad I wasn't next to them because that would have killed me. Here's some more food vendors that are outside that we have. And there's some folks it was starting to get crowded at that point. And at the show, they typically set up an area to do photos in. So if you want to do a family photo, you could do it in that area or in this area or with your friends or what have you. And they even had beer at the show. That really always makes it more festive. So they had a beer tent outside and they had a band outside, which was very good. Lots of folks just come and drink beer and listen to the band, and that's okay too. You can shop or not shop. And they also had singers in the inside, and I'll tell you what, I listened to them all day. They were excellent. So here's some of the scenes later on as the show was going on. I was, of course, back in my booth. But this shows some of the folks going around to the different booths, and we had quite a crowd. There's a lot of people that come to these vintage markets. Like I said, this one was in Monroe, but they take place also in Ann Arbor and various other locations. You could check out their website or their Facebook. It's the Vintage Market, and you will find out all of their schedules. And here's another booth outside where there's lots of folks shopping. It's a very fun day. It can be made as an outing for the family. Here was a troupe of witches, women that dressed up as witches. They had little routines, and they went around, and they were so fun. They were hilarious to watch, and they put on quite a show. And here they are. They were coming through the buildings. I started to hear singing and all kinds of commotion. I didn't know quite what was happening. They had pony rides also at the Vintage Market for the kids. So something for everyone. Definitely nice. And the Headless Horseman even went around on his horse for the Halloween type themes that was going on that day. And if you like what you're seeing, please like, ring the bell, and subscribe. And this was the Vintage Market. Thanks.